we are talking about giving experience to the child. Process is a bit different. However, it talks about bringing all these real life experiences in the classroom so that children are able to understand that yes, it is something which is important and they need to work towards it as they grow up.
Hi, welcome to Slate, your very own school search engine that helps you find the best schools for your kid based on various filters and parameters. Today, we have Ms. Karishma, who is the literacy coordinator of the Heritage School, which is an experiential learning school. Let's speak to her and understand about the general concerns that parents are likely to have while joining their kid in a school and more about CBSE as a syllabus. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much. But before we begin and go into the finer details of the school, can you tell us why the Heritage School has chosen CBSE as its curriculum?
The learning objective of CBSE curriculum talks about the overall development of a child. It focuses on not only on academics but talks about the emotional and moral value education as well. So I believe that comprises of overall development of a child who can become an important part of the society. So I believe that is why CBSE is important. The curriculum CBSE is important to be added in the education of students.
Got it. And for those parents who are looking to shift their kids from one curriculum to the other, what sort of suggestions do you have for those parents? Is there any challenge that you think the kid has to go through while facing this transformation period?
So in the beginning, the overall ideology or the thinking, I would say, they count with is that there are going to be a lot of assessment, rote memorization is going to be there, and the child will study and give exams, and that's how the whole process is going to go forward towards along with the years. However, when the child is coming to Heritage, we are talking about giving experiences to the child. So while transitioning to Heritage, parents and students, they may encounter a shift in the approach towards exams and assessments. So when we are talking about experiential learning methods, we are integrated with the CBSE framework. The process is a bit different. However, it talks about the skill development of a child to promote a deeper understanding of concepts.
Got it. And speaking about the assessment programs, how is the assessment done at the Heritage School for different standards, be it for the kindergarten, then primary, and then the secondary school? Is it any different?
So as I shared, this assessment is formative, it is ongoing. It's not only, I would say, a pen and paper exam which is happening, how the child is speaking, how the child is sharing his or her ideas in the classroom, how the child is putting his individual voice in his work, or the presentation, the artwork, the craft work. So these are all part of the assessment at Heritage. We encourage students to put their own ideas and their own voices in whatever idea they are trying to present or whatever concept which is being done. So we do have a structured rubric for each and every child. However, that scope is there for them to put their individual voice in their work, and on the basis of that, the child is assessed. Over the time, we observe the student, how the child is behaving and speaking and presenting himself or herself in the classroom. And when we see, and accordingly, the feedback is also provided to the child. And when we observe the changes, of course, parents and students both work simultaneously on that given feedback. And as the students move ahead with the grade or with the program, on the basis of that, the child is assessed. It's not a one-time process, it's an ongoing process.
Got it. And you just spoke about skill development and the overall development. These days, something that parents are very keen about is the school finding the right balance between the co-curricular activities and the academic orientation. So how do you think this is being observed in the Heritage School, and how CBSE as a curriculum supports this idea of fine balance between both?
So when we are talking about co-curricular activities, they can be easily integrated with the curricular or the academic topics as well. So again, the learning is not only confined in the classroom. Of course, the co-curricular activities are there to give, again, I would say, a bigger platform for students to enhance their physical and mental skill. We have digital literacy, we have performing arts, we have visual arts for students. However, all those skills and topics and ideas are integrated in the academics concepts as well, which the students are learning in the classroom. So if I'm taking expedition, if I'm taking science, and I'm talking about the environment and how the conservation environment. So the same thing via poetry in literacy and via craft work, a live working project done by a student, and can be done. The importance of conservation can be shared via songs and rhymes in any language. So again, so if you're talking about co-curricular and curricular activities, so a merge is there, and again, digital literacy is there, as we know that the importance of artificial intelligence is quite evident in our education these days. So students, they do get a lot of opportunities to present their ideas and thoughts and their understanding through various methods and through various platforms.
Got it. And the general understanding is that CBSE curriculum will have some edge over the others when it comes to the national examinations that are conducted by the government, be it the NIT or IIT. Is it true? And can you throw more light into what kind of edge does the CBSE have, especially for the higher grades?
So again, if you're talking about the higher grades or how CBSE is important, it is talking about when we say that the individual skill of a child or the individual understanding of the child. So when the child is imbibing the concept, he or she is able to apply how this relates to my life or how can I make it work better. So if we are talking about, as adults, we are going into the society and becoming, value creating human beings who would act as a global citizen and working towards the betterment of our society. So once they are imbibing those things in the classroom only, and they are able to understand that these concepts are not just, within the bounds of my book. They are actually, application-based concepts, and I can learn this, understand this, and I can see these things happening in my environment. So I think that is what providing an edge to CBSE curriculum, because it's encouraging children, it's encouraging our educators to focus on skill-based learning, focus on creativity, leadership, teamwork, and emphasizing on holistic development. And not only look from one perspective, creating a monologue, but rather providing an opportunity of more and more dialogues within the environment with the people who are there around us. So I think that is why CBSE is important.
Got it. And for a lot of parents who are new to the city, what is the academic calendar for a typical CBSE school, and which time of the year that the final examination happens, and what time of the year should a parent approach you for the admission?
Parents can approach just before beginning this session only, because as I shared that the assessments are ongoing. So it's an ongoing process. Of course, the planner is fixed beforehand. However, the results or the assessment is not finalized at only one point of time. So before starting the session, so if we start the session in the month of April, so before that, only the parents can connect with the school and get deeper understanding of what's being done and how things are, taken into the classroom.
Well, ma'am, before we conclude, because the Heritage School stands for the experiential learning, can you help us understand more about it by picking up a small example and tell how is it explained in an experiential learning atmosphere versus a normal school?
Okay, so if I take a topic, let's say water conservation, and in the classroom I'm talking why water is important, how fresh water is so scarce in our world, and it's important to conserve it. So I am talking about all those aspects in, let's say, module, which is science. Then social science, we can talk about how during how in various areas of I would say our country, there are step wells which were built, and how people used to conserve water before we had all these technology and all these tools. And then in mathematics, we can talk about simply how much water children are using, fresh water, like for their daily chores, to take a bath, to clean their cars, to clean their homes. And in literacy, in English and Hindi, they can write letters, influence influencing their friends, talking about saving water, creating posters and creating slogans. And in they can also, in social science, they can read about the prehistoric time, or how water is considered as not only, I would say, an entity or an element which is important for survival, but how it is important, how it I would say it is important as one of the faith of people who are there, like various faith, how people treat water as holy and religious. So I think that comprises, it not only talks about why water is important, why conservation of water is important, also talks about the application of it in daily life and our daily lives, and talking about taking it through various subjects is what we are trying to focus on. So actually giving them experiences in each and every subject. In mathematics, they can talk about how much water did they use per day. In Hindi and English, they can create songs and poems about water conservation, the importance of water. In science, they can talk about water cycle or various properties of water. In social science, they can talk about or learn about how water has been an important part of our country and our lives, and how it plays an important role in different regions of our country. So taking one topic and integrating it with all the subjects, giving them actual real life examples, and making them understand, bringing experts in the classroom who are actually working in this field towards cleaning Yamuna and saving fresh water, and how water gets treated in various centers. So again, bringing all these real life experiences in the classroom, so that children are able to understand that yes, it is something which is important, and they need to work towards it as they grow up, and they also need to pay make a contribution in the society as a part of our culture.
That is very, very interesting to know how the holistic approach for each topic that you picked up, and how it is being addressed while explaining different subjects in the same country. Thank you very much for coming forward and sharing all these thoughts about CBSE, the Heritage School, and various other things. I'm sure it will be of great help for parents who are looking for good schools to take a decision. And on behalf of all those parents, once again, thank you very much. And we look forward to meeting you once again and speaking to you about many more topics.